Hello, welcome to Nezo's Bad Shop. I'm your host, Nezo, and welcome to another unboxing or unbagging as it's becoming a little more common the last couple of videos, products and bags. Yes, this is a conversion kit from a new brand in the RC Drift game, so to say. What we see here in front of us is a flex style chassis conversion set here, which is a top deck and a lower deck, as you can see. It's for the Rookie Drift 2.0 by Yokomo. We're going to add some flex here and this and that. And yes, what I have in front of me is the prototype version. So we're going to get into that, and I'm going to talk about the production version of this as well, as I've been provided details by the manufacturer of this very cool product. So the new brand name is DHP, and what you're looking at is the Proteus conversion kit for Rookie Drift 2.0. But this conversion kit is going to be unique, as there's a couple different versions of it going to be available, if not already available at this time of video production. And yeah, shout out to Darren from DHP for sending this up to the Bad Shop for review and all that good stuff. And what I see, I like already, because it does remind me of other flex style decks, and there's a good amount of cutaways and things like that. So we're going to get into that, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this and the features and the bits that we see here in this bag. So I'm going to go ahead and open all this up, unbagging. We're going to take it out, oops, and do some placementing and all that good stuff, and some light analysis on this unboxing, unbagging video. All right, so here's some hardware that has been provided, which I've done some homework here, and as per the information provided, this is hardware that will be included with all versions of the Proteus kit, and I even have a breakdown in front of me just to describe what we have here and why it's here, because this is a brand new chassis, conversion chassis kit getting onto the RC Drift market. By DHP. So, oh, here, let me get the shipping tape off here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yes, listen to the glorious carbon making noises. Okay, and yeah, one hand action. Look at that. All right, so there we are. Got everything unpacked here now. As per the bits here that you see, the accessory hardwares, what we have is we've got some 3x50 millimeter pins and 3x5 millimeter spacers. The pins and the spacers here. Now this allows you to use any YD2 rear suspension mounts with the Rookie Drift 2 transmission. Very cool. We also have 3x8 millimeter standoffs. That's probably these guys here. Sorry, standoffs? Yeah, those, I believe. They should be in here. I think that's those, yeah. To replace the plastic spacer in the rear arms. No, that's not them. A 3.5 millimeter space. Or maybe there's only a few here. 3x8 millimeter. I'm assuming it's those. One of these two things, anyways. What else? This is what else is here. Replace the plastic spacer in the rear arms. These let you mount the shock in any position on the arm. So I have a feeling that's these things, actually. That would be my mistake, because those look like those would fit in the rear arms. Pins and spacers. Yeah, there's only two spacers, actually. It does depend on how you are going to configure this. Like I said, there's a couple different versions and features. So that's not those, that's these pieces. Yes, what else we got here? 3D printed transmission riser and upper deck spacer. That's these two pieces. This is an optional part that adds a bit of forward bite and weight transfer to the setup and solves the issue of servo horn hitting the top deck in some setups. So that's what those are for. Very useful to have for various kits. Yeah, so maybe these are dual purpose. I've just been thinking about this as we go, or maybe there were two other pieces that meant to get into the bag there and didn't make it. But anyways, what I'm describing off here will be in all Proteus production kits. And the last thing is the 3x35 millimeter aluminum standoff. That's this guy, and that mounts just in front of the battery tray, which is roughly about here on the Rookie Drift 2, and that will take most of the flex out of the car and trades a bit of traction for a more responsive setup. So that's what those are there for, and I may have confused a couple of those pieces there as earlier, but what I've read off here, what I've got here, this literature right here, this is what will be put in every Proteus kit. So that's good news. So having talked about that, here we have it in front of us. If I flip that over, yep. The lower deck and the upper deck, and here is there's a computer render of it there. And I believe this is supposed to be more of the production version versus the prototype I have in my hands. And yes, you can see the differences. See here, see in the middle, the long cutout here, it's been refined there. Same with the cutouts back here, they've been slightly refined. And the cuts on the side there, they've also been refined. So I'm pretty sure though the performance should be on this here should be as good as or better than what we have here on the prototype version. But nevertheless, I'm still going to try test it out and go from there. And who knows, maybe we'll see the other versions that are also available of the Proteus that allow you to mix and match and do all kinds of unique building as per what I've been reading on my homework. So I'll get into those photos in a minute, but for this second, we are going to flip this car over, the Rookie Drift 2 here, and I'm going to do some product placement right on the car so we can visually see the difference, or how I like to say, vive la différence. So, okay, check it out. So we have things lined up here, and as you can see, lots of cutaway action, lots and lots and lots and lots. Look at it. Oh. Whoops, oopsie doodles, you know, typical bad shop, knocking things out of position. Put it back. Okay, so yes, as you can see, lots of cutouts in the middle of the transmission mount, on the side of the transmission mount. Here's the flexi area, more flexi area, lots of flex through there. Major amount of cutout through there, which I've seen reminiscent of a lot of the Yokomo flex style chassis that came out after the SX3 YD2 was released, that version. Lots of cutout on the side there. So there should be a good amount of flex available on this chassis, which is very promising. And when I first looked at it, when it first arrived, it did give me the vibes of the Bendy Wendy. Now the Bendy Wendy is a bit more wider because it accommodates it'll allow you to run a long side battery. But this chassis, I believe, was designed for the shorty style, both thick and thin. So for more concentrated weight setup in that sense of the battery. But yeah, definitely reminded me of the Bendy Wendy, so who knows, I might give it some kind of nickname. But that did give me some positives in terms of the thoughts I had immediately, because I know the Bendy Wendy works quite well. So have some good expectations for this chassis kit, so that we can remove that there. And now I'm going to do the same on the top side. Let's just move that stuff out of the way. And because this is my receiver is double-sided taped to the top deck, we are going to just put this side by side. So as you can see, a little bit more square up front here. Okay, you see that? A little bit more square in the servo cutout versus a little more rounded there on the stock piece. However, there is a lot of cutout in the middle there as compared to the middle of the stock piece. And there is bracing back here where there's a large cutout on the stock piece. So this is similar to this reminds me of the Bingo chassis where there was a brace in the middle here, and this has got bracing in the middle here, but there was more cutouts up in the midsection. And that sort of thing. So that's interesting. The lower deck I meant to mention as well, the amount of cutouts along the side, for being a flex style chassis, yes, definitely makes me think of the Bingo and a couple other those flex style chassis, as I have a good amount of Bingos that I can roughly in my head compare this one to. So very promising because there's there's a good amount of similarities, but by the way it looks in certain areas, I know there'll be a different feel just from the look of it, and how much difference of material there is. And at some point, maybe I'll put this prototype back to back in a comparison to Bingo and something other, you know, a couple other things. But for now, we are profiling the Proteus by DHP. So this looks very promising, and that's going to be very exciting to get onto the Rookie Drift 2 and do some testing and just send it and see what we can do with it, and try some of the different flex modes and that sort of stuff, like, or whatever I can do with the provided hardwares as per my literature. So yes, definitely check out the posting for that. I'm not sure if there's an official website yet or if it's just on Facebook. Probably Darren from DHP will be in touch to let me know on updates of that, of where things will be posted and that sort of other stuff, whether it'll be like a group or a website, that kind of stuff. But for now, that will be then. This is now, so I'm going to show you a couple other versions of this chassis deck version kit, the Proteus. So this is the Proteus. These are the production photos I were sent, the renders. So this is what you'll probably see once they're available for purchase. And so this one is the Flex, and that's the upper deck, lower deck. And if I scroll some photos here, here's the Flex, the second version, I say, because the lower deck is the same. However, the upper deck has changed, and there are separate photos of the upper decks, which I will show as well. But this version is for Rhino Racing Shark. So, like I said, there's a lot of features of this. You're able to remix Yokomo and Reeve and Rhino and like a whole bunch of different things with this chassis deck, both upper and lower. So DHP did make a upper deck that supports Rhino Racing's YD2 based transmission, because that's what that's for. I know this as I had a similar set. I had a Rhino Racing Shark RMX, and they never did a MST based transmission. They only ever did a YD2 transmission. So all Rhino Racing Shark transmissions are YD2 hole base. So that's why there's those holes there, but the upper mounting holes are this. Okay, so the next photo is sort of an overhead view of the production of the Proteus Flex version. And if I fluff up my words and stick this chassis deck sort of beside it, you can see the similarities and the differences, and you know, yeah, you can see all that between this prototype in my hand and the production one on screen. So moving on. Now here is the Proteus lightweight deck version. Now this one has a couple more features and will allow you to do a little bit more things, as I have some info on that we'll go through as well. So here we can do ZX style servo mounting, we can do bell crank style servo mounting, we can do mid-rear servo style mounting. There's 3 positions for the battery tray, and we have dual transmission mounting options, both for the YD2 and the Rookie Drift 2. And because the Rookie Drift 2 transmission mounts, the holes are there, the difference of holes or whatever, mounting options, we are able to run SD and SD, basically SD2 style transmission, the aluminum version if we want. So that'll be exciting, something to do if you want to do that. Here is the lightweight version chassis with the upper deck, the standard upper deck I'm going to call it, because that's the one that I have here. And this might be a prototype, but it looks pretty similar to that production one there, so I don't think too much of this changed. I have some other notes that we'll go through as well, just in case I did forget something about that. This is the same lightweight chassis deck with the Shark upper piece, so that's also a thing too. You have those options, and there's an overhead of the lightweight deck. And if I do the same thing and grab my other hand and put this over here, you can see that there's a lot more material on that deck than this deck. But this is the prototype Flex, and that will be the production lightweight. Yes, so putting that over there, making carbon noises. Looking at this photo now, this is the Proteus Shark upper deck. So this is, as you can see, the 3 mounting holes there. That is for the Rhino Racing YD2 based Shark transmission. That's what those mounting holes are for. And you can see that my hands don't work over here. You can see the difference between this deck in my hand, which is the standard upper deck, and the Shark one there. The mounting holes in the rear. And there's the photo of the production version of the upper deck for the Proteus, and this one in my hand I was told is a prototype, but they do look very, very, very similar, and I don't think there was any changes to this. If there might have been a thickness change, maybe, not sure. We're going to check the notes that I have as well here, announcement notes. But yeah, in terms of like the chassis itself, most of the stuff I can talk to you about. What I have here in front of me, that's pretty much done, but we're going to go through the notes. I'm going to have my car, my little test mule here, standing by, and all the parts standing by, because as I go through some of the notes here, I'm going to point out a few things, and I just want to make sure I cover all the info that was sent to me, because, as it says here, the Proteus chassis was designed to offer true freedom of choice in how you configure your chassis. And yeah, from what I read, there's quite a lot of bits. So I'm going to summarize instead of just reading everything straight off. But basically, yes, this deck is designed for the Rookie Drift 2, but even the lightweight one, but you can use it for other chassis. the main reason why DHP states that this was designed for the Rookie Drift 2 is because you do need to use that battery tray to bolt up to here. Now, there's going to be options, obviously, in the near future, but for starters, this is what they spec'd it with. So this battery tray or the aftermarket version of it should bolt up to this, and that's what it was designed for. So that's why they say start with the Rookie Drift 2. But you can do some pretty unique custom tweakery part swappery and make a pretty interesting version of a Proteus if you want. So I have here, the literature states there's two lower deck options, the lightweight and the flex, as I showed you. This one is the prototype flex. Okay, now the upper deck options, there's the Proteus, which is the standard one, which is this one. There's the Shark one, which has the 3 holes in the middle here. And then there's another one called the Proteus Shark Plus 5, and that's basically a 5mm extended version, I believe. So I think it's extension because of the plus 5. There's notes about it. We're going to get to that. Now, reading some of the informations here, if you want, you can utilize up to 2 different transmission and rear toe block mounts. So you could run, for example, a YD2 ZRE transmission with those style toe blocks, or run the Rookie Drift 2 or SD2 transmissions on this kit, which is quite unique. So that's kind of cool. Straight off the hop, there has that support. That's nice to see. If you run the RD2 or the SD2 transmission with the standard Proteus top deck, this one, you will have the plus 5mm drive shaft angle Yokomo release with the Rookie Drift 2. That is this that they're talking about, that DHP is referencing here. See how there is the angle of the upper arm and the drive shaft, but it works on the suspension because they're parallel. But that's the plus 5 they're talking about, okay? So that means the transmission sits 5mm back, and that's why we have that anglage there. So yes, so that's that. Now, if you use the Rhino Shark transmission, which is also supported with the standard positionings, you can use the standard version of the Shark one or the plus 5 to designate how much drive shaft angle you'd like. So there's options there. Now, if you, what does it say here? Okay, I'm going to read this right off because this part's a little bit more technical. So if you use the plus 5mm transmission mounts, they require the use of the Rookie Drift 2 angled rear toe block or the 3x50mm suspension pins with any standard toe block. So these are the suspension pins provided if you want to use those. Otherwise, you have to use the Rookie Drift standard suspension mounts, these angled ones right here. That's what DHP is referring to. Okay, so that's what that is. Also within that bit of info there, a pair of 3x50mm suspension pins and the 3x5mm spacers will be included with every Proteus lower deck. So, like I was saying before, but did get a little flubbed up as I read it, you can use these pins and these spacers, or you can not use those pins but use these spacers elsewhere. That's where I kind of got flubbed up. But you have all those options, so that's really cool. So that's to do with transmissions, and I'm sure all this info will definitely be on a website or group form or something. I'm just going to provide it all here, so it's all here for you, the viewer. You have something to check out and think about. Now that's all the rear end of the car in terms of like transmissions and different mountings as rear suspensions you can do based on a Rookie Drift 2 setup, but you can mix and match, as I was saying. And as I showed on the lightweight one, and I'm pretty sure for the most part you can do most of those things on this flex one, but not entirely sure. Didn't look like it, but it mostly looks like it. Yeah, actually it will, yeah. So you can do what you can do on the lightweight on this one as well, on the flex, which relates to the steering. That's where I was going. So you have choice. You can do the Yokomo bell crank, and that's the Rookie Drift 2 bell crank, which is the newer version. That one there. Yes, so that's for the Rookie Drift 2, you use that one. YD2 slide rack, so you can mount ZX style, SX3 style, or the SD 2.0 position for the YD2 style slide rack, or Yokomo slide rack at this point, because they're retiring the YD2 name, basically. Legendary. So there's many options there, like that's just for those mounting positions. You can use Rhino Racing's DDSS in the front end of this. It says Proteus and Proteus Shark top decks support proper clearance for full Ackerman adjustment using the DDSS. That's good. Also, even further down here, Team AD XF, the X series, mid-servo positions are supported without the need of any adapters, so that's also good to know. What else? It also says it also supports the Reeve D SG bell crank. Okay, that's good too, because the SG bell crank, I believe that's the one that was on the MC1. I don't think that's the one that was for RDX, otherwise it would have said that. So that's the one that the bell crank MC1s use. So that's also cool too. And as I said down here, the last bits of information here are just saying, yes, Proteus does require the use of the YD2, the RD 2.0 battery tray. That's this part number here. There should be some aftermarkets coming out, if not already out or whatever, that should bolt up to this. So that's a thing. You can make 3D print replicas of this, or DHP will supply you a 3D printed version one for a small fee, it says here. Or you can access the files and print it yourself if you have a printer. So there's all those options as well. And if you're going to print it yourself, maybe you can engrave some logos or do some other fancy stuff. So that's an option. Many cool options with this chassis kit. So it's not just limited to the Rookie Drift 2. You can really mix and rematch and kind of, you know, you don't really have to have a Rookie Drift 2 per se, but that's where it starts with this kit. And the last piece of info on my little blurb here, it says all parts will be produced in matte twill carbon fiber. And the last note, flex deck for production values. My prototype one is a bit different here. I believe this one's 2.5 mil thickness, but the flex lower deck will be 2 millimeters thick. Okay, the lightweight deck will stay the same at 2.5, so the same thickness as this, I believe. I don't have my caliper handy, so I can't tell, but this does look like 2.5 mil. And all the top decks, this one and the Shark ones for the Proteus, will be 2.5 millimeters thick. So if I put these two side by side, they look the same thickness. Yeah. So look at that. See? So yeah, that's the Proteus new conversion kit on the market now for drift cars with both a flex and a lightweight version. New brand DHP. Once again, shout out to Darren from DHP for sending me up his prototype conversion chassis plate here. I'm going to get it installed on the Rookie Drift 2 and do some testing and hand the radio to my buddies and let them send it and see what they think as well, because it's always good to have multiple opinion. I always like to hear what people say sort of right in the moment when I hand it to them and just sort of loosely tell them what it is and see what you got, see what it's got, you know, or how do you like it, that kind of thing. So we're going to do all that, and yeah, pretty sure I've covered everything to do. Just checking on my laptop. Yep, I've covered everything. And yeah, we will go from there. So, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If at time of the video release here, if someone else has gotten one of these already, the Proteus by DHP, let me know. Comment, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll go from there. If you're thinking of getting one or your thoughts on it, drop me a line, and we'll go from there. Okay, be on the lookout for more content coming soon, especially of this, and this compared to some other things. All right, bye for now.